So here in the US, with the virus is climbing ever faster. San Francisco was in the 30s, now we're back up into the 50s, and tomorrow we'll probably be in the 60s in the new cases because people refuse to do what you're supposed to do, wear the mask and all, distance. It's so last year. You know, the sad thing about it is if you get it, it looks like it's like HIV. You have it for life, and it just keeps coming back and causing more problems, especially with all your innards. Kidneys, everything gets affected by this thing. It's so important not to catch this particular virus. But because of the leadership around the world, and especially the one here in the US, people are just saying it's all over. We're just going to go about our business. That it's like when it was before antibiotics, you just lived with it. Well, hardly. Antibiotics didn't stop things from you catching things. It helped after you caught something. So the logic makes no sense. But when does logic ever make sense with the Orange Man here in the US? But with all that bad news of more people dying, they're predicting getting up around the World War kind of thing, and yet people are just disregarding it, throwing their hands up and saying we give up, go back to normal. But I'm not going to talk about that today. Let me set up the camera and we'll begin with the video. You're not going to believe this one. This is why I say the human race is gone. We seem to be losing it more and more upstairs. We're going insane. Let me give you an example. A U.S. judge rules cancer warning labels on glyphosate unconstitutional. Just never know who's coming through the forest. It's usually just the wildlife here in San Francisco, but they caught 2 mountain lions over in the industrial part of San Francisco. Pretty amazing. They would have had to come from miles and miles to get there, across the Golden Gate Bridge, and then another 3 or 4 miles to get where they were caught. Unbelievable. So the judge in this case says the ruling of putting a warning label on a product, it violates corporate free speech. It is a herbicide, world's most popular weed killer. That's why there's so much fighting going on, because there's so much money being made from companies that use glyphosate in their weed killer. Here in the US, 1.8 million tons of glyphosate has been put on the grounds, our farming lands, since 1974. The use of glyphosate has risen 15-fold since GMO crops were introduced. That's amazing. So GMO has really catapulted more poison out on the environment. The FIGO recommends a full global phase-out of glyphosate. The IARC classified glyphosate as a carcinogen to human beings. Well, if it's a carcinogen to humans, it's going to be a carcinogen to everything else that's mammal, right? We're so close to being the same thing. It's not like there's any difference, hardly at all. That's why the humans tend to experiment on rats and mice, because they're so close to being human. You see, that's why I blame the Orange Man for so much damage here in the US and around the world, because he has really taken the side of corporations, that they have the right to poison us according to their free speech. According to that judge, corporations have the right to poison us now because it's protection of free speech. Now the question is the reverse also the same, is can citizens poison corporations for free speech? It does make sense, doesn't it? Do you know how much work the environmental groups over the years have pushed to get these things classified as poisons? And now one single judge is going to undo all that work? I just can't believe what's happening around planet Earth. Why we're going down this road of complete insanity over and over and over. Right now, the world is experiencing a humongous dust storm from the Sahara Desert in Africa. It has come all the way over to the U.S., which isn't unusual, but the amount of dust is tremendous. This is the worst dust storm ever seen from Africa hitting the U.S. Another record. It's almost the norm now. Higher temperatures, harder rains, more floods, the higher winds, and bigger hail, and more vicious lightning. Yeah, let's have a baby, shall we? So now we have a judge that has given the green light to poison the citizens. Now I'm waiting for another judge to give the green light for the citizens to be able to poison the corporation for free speech rights. What's fair for one is fair for all. Do you know that the rights of the U.S. citizens are being eroded every day now that these right-wing judges are getting in? Over 200 now have been appointed with the Democrats' help for not even trying to stop them. No one's even talking about these right-wing judges that Trump's putting in. What he's done to Radio America is amazing. He's kicked everybody out and put in his own thugs so that he can put propaganda about how great he is and how everything he touches is great and the greatest and nobody knows better than him. Oh, the Orange Man just keeps bringing better things to life. How anybody could still vote for this guy is beyond me. Look into it yourself if you don't believe me. Instead of just giving me thumbs down, why don't you do some homework on your own and see if what I'm saying is true. I definitely appreciate all the ups and downs and the new subscribers, and let's hope that we find one of the last left-winging judges can give us the equal ability to poison corporations for our free speech. And until next time.